today's mindful moment. Get ready for a journey into the heart of post-Civil War America, where we'll unravel a web of hidden identities and the enduring power of connection.
Sounds intriguing.
We're diving deep into Night Watch by Jayne Anne Phillips.
A story set against the backdrop of an asylum. A fascinating setting.
It is. And within those walls, we meet Miss Janet, a woman battling amnesia, and ConaLee, the young woman fiercely claiming to be her daughter. But is she?
Ah, the mystery starts right away. I love how Phillips keeps us guessing.
Me too. And what makes this novel even more compelling is its exploration of moral treatment, a revolutionary approach to mental health in the 19th century.
Moral treatment, you say?
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the stereotypical image of asylums as places of isolation and cruelty.
Not exactly. Think sunlight, fresh air, purposeful activities. Doctors like Dr. Thomas Kirkbride, a key figure in the movement, believed in restoring dignity and agency to patients often deemed incurable.
It's amazing how perspectives on mental health have evolved, though the stigma sadly still persists in many ways.
Absolutely. And Night Watch reminds us that even progressive ideals can have unintended consequences. The novel doesn't shy away from portraying the power imbalances inherent in the system, where doctors held immense control over their patients' lives.
A good reminder that no system is perfect, no matter how well-intentioned.
Right. So, while moral treatment offered a glimmer of hope, it also raises questions about autonomy and control within the asylum walls.
Questions that become even more crucial when we consider Miss Janet and ConaLee's situation. Are they truly better off within those walls, or are they trapped in another form of confinement?
It's a question that lingers throughout the novel. And to navigate those complexities, we have ConaLee's voice, sharp and resilient, guiding us through the asylum's intricate world.
ConaLee is such a strong character. She's fiercely protective of Miss Janet, fighting against the rigid rules and social hierarchies that define their existence.
Her resourcefulness really shines through as she cares for Miss Janet, using her knowledge of herbs and remedies to ease her mother's suffering.
Ah, yes. Those skills she learned from Dirbla, the wise woman who helped raise her.
Exactly. Dirbla becomes this link to a life outside the asylum, a past shrouded in mystery. But through those fragmented memories, we get glimpses of ConaLee's traumatic past with Papa, a figure who casts a long shadow over their lives.
Papa, a haunting presence. And we see ConaLee's resilience, her bond with Dirbla, and the heartbreaking absence of her twin siblings.
The missing siblings add another layer to the story, don't they? Their fate is left ambiguous, mirroring the fragmented nature of memory itself.
It certainly keeps you on the edge of your seat, wondering what happened to them.
Definitely. And then there's Dr. Story, the physician treating Miss Janet. He seems drawn to her case, but is his interest purely professional?
Good question. He represents the complexities of moral treatment, believing in its principles, yet bound by the societal expectations of his time.
Right. His evolving relationship with Miss Janet really brings those complexities to life. And then we have O'Shea, the enigmatic Civil War veteran working as the Night Watch.
O'Shea, shrouded in secrets. He embodies the weight of history and the lasting impact of trauma.
He does. And his amnesia, caused by a war injury, parallels Miss Janet's, but stems from a different source.
Two characters, both grappling with memory loss, but for vastly different reasons. It's fascinating how Phillips explores the multifaceted nature of amnesia.
It is. And their paths seem destined to collide, especially with the recurring mention of a mysterious Papa figure from ConaLee's past. Could O'Shea hold the key to unraveling the truth about their connection?
That's where the suspense really kicks in. Phillips masterfully weaves together these seemingly disparate threads, inviting us to question every interaction, every memory.
And just when you think you're starting to grasp the truth, the fire erupts, literally and figuratively, shaking the asylum's very foundations.
The fire, a pivotal turning point. It forces the characters to confront their pasts and face some hard truths.
It disrupts the carefully constructed order of the asylum, mirroring the internal chaos and upheaval the characters experience.
It's a powerful symbol of both destruction and transformation.
Absolutely. And in the aftermath, the truth starts to emerge. We discover that O'Shea is actually ConaLee's father, his identity shattered by war and amnesia.
A revelation that reframes everything. His past as a sharpshooter adds a chilling layer to the themes of violence and memory that permeate the novel.
His amnesia becomes symbolic of the ways in which trauma can fracture identity and sever connections to the past. And ConaLee, armed with her father's hidden bank account and enlistment papers, takes a bold step, building a new life for herself and Weed, a young man with unique abilities raised within the asylum walls.
She chooses to use the remnants of her father's past to forge a future for herself and Weed. It speaks volumes about her strength, her determination to create something good out of the wreckage.
It does. She buys a house near the asylum, creating a space of her own while remaining tethered to the place that holds her mother's memory.
It's a poignant choice, isn't it? A reminder of the enduring power of place and the complexities of family ties.
It is. And the asylum itself becomes more than just a setting. It's a character in itself, shaping the lives and destinies of those within its walls.
It reflects the larger societal attitudes toward mental illness, the stigma, the fear, and the yearning for understanding and healing.
And that's what makes Night Watch so compelling. It's not just a story about individuals struggling with their pasts. It's an exploration of the human condition, the complexities of memory and identity, and the enduring power of connection.
Beautifully put. And even within the confines of an asylum, even in the aftermath of trauma, there's always that glimmer of hope, a possibility for healing and transformation. Welcome back. We're diving deeper into Night Watch, this time exploring the rich symbolism that adds layers of meaning to the characters' journeys.
Symbolism, yeah, it's like a secret language, isn't it? Like those birds that keep appearing throughout the novel.
Yeah.
They seem to represent both freedom and confinement, all at the same time.
You're right, the birds are a key motif. When ConaLee imagines her mother escaping, transformed into a bird, it's like this yearning for liberation from the clutches of Papa. But birds also tie into Dearbla, don't they? She understands their language, their connection to nature.
Exactly. Dearbla embodies a different kind of knowledge, a connection to the natural world. The birds, they're like messengers for her.
Then we have those snakeskins nailed to the chicken coop door. Such a chilling image. Those lifeless snakes, once powerful, now just a symbol of sinister control.
And the chickens, huddled inside, their freedom curtailed. It mirrors Eliza and ConaLee's own captivity. It's like Phillips is saying, even in a seemingly peaceful setting, power can be used to dominate.
Mirrors, too. They play a huge role, not just reflecting physical appearances, but also the fragmented nature of memory and identity.
Right. Think about the small copper mirror Dearbla gives ConaLee. It becomes a symbol of self-discovery, of her sense of self separate from her mother.
Whereas for O'Shea, mirrors reflect his shattered memories. He sees fragments of himself, struggling to reclaim his past.
Precisely. His amnesia, it stems from physical trauma, a war injury, a stark reminder of how war leaves its marks, not just on the body, but on the mind. And what about the asylum's clock tower? With its constant ticking, it feels like it represents both order and the passage of time.
It does, doesn't it? For young ConaLee, those chimes offer a sense of normalcy amidst chaos, but time in the asylum seems to flow differently, almost suspended.
Like the outside world doesn't exist.
Right. The clock tower becomes a symbol of the asylum's power, its control over the lives within its walls. And then we have the colors. Phillips uses color imagery masterfully to evoke emotion. Green, for example, represents nature, but also fragility.
Like the green landscape. Beautiful, but also vulnerable.
Exactly. Then there's yellow, associated with Eliza, a color that suggests resilience, but also delicacy.
Mirroring her fragile emotional state.
And the stark black and white, associated with the asylum and the war, it emphasizes the harsh realities they represent.
And fire, of course. It blazes through the story, symbolizing both destruction and transformation.
The fire that consumes the asylum is pivotal. It forces a reckoning. It burns away the facade of normalcy, revealing the raw emotions beneath.
But fire also represents ConaLee's spirit, her unwavering devotion to protecting those she loves.
Even amidst destruction, there's a spark of creation, a force for change. And what about that game ConaLee plays, Alphabet Pie? Those faceless dolls are so symbolic.
The missing faces. It's like they represent the loss of self that ConaLee and her mother have endured, their pasts fragmented and distorted.
But the game also suggests the possibility of creating new identities, shaping their own narratives. Even in the face of loss, there's this resilience of the human spirit.
The landscape itself becomes a character, doesn't it? Embodying nature's indifference, but also its potential for healing.
I'm thinking of the scene where Dearbla stands by the stream after Eliza and ConaLee have left for the asylum. Nature just continues, seemingly oblivious to their suffering.
It highlights the vastness of the universe, how little control we have.
But Dearbla's connection to the land also offers a different kind of solace. Her knowledge of nature, her understanding of its rhythms, represent healing. A reminder that even amidst chaos, there are forces that can soothe and mend.
Scars, too, both physical and emotional. They mark both O'Shea and Eliza.
Scars, yes, they tell a story. O'Shea's war wound, Eliza's scars from abuse. They speak to the lasting impact of trauma.
But scars can also represent resilience, the ability to survive.
They're proof of the battles fought, the strength it takes to heal, and finally, even the idea of asylum itself becomes symbolic.
A place of refuge, maybe, but also confinement.
Sometimes the asylum we seek is within ourselves, the walls we build to protect us from pain.
Walls that offer temporary safety, but can also prevent us from experiencing true connection.
True healing often requires us to step outside our comfort zones, to face our fears. As we explore these layers of symbolism, it's clear that Night Watch is more than just a story.
It's a reflection of the human experience, the complexities of memory, identity, and the power of connection in the face of adversity. So as we reach the end of our journey into Night Watch, it's time to reflect on what we've learned, what stays with us.
This novel really makes you think about women's lives in the 19th century, the struggles they faced.
Doesn't it? Eliza, trapped in that awful marriage. And ConaLee, forced to navigate a world where her worth is measured by how much she can do for others.
Their stories, they make you realize how far we've come, but also how much further we still need to go.
It's like Phillips is holding up a mirror to society, then and now.
Exactly. But amidst all the darkness, there's also this incredible strength. ConaLee's determination to protect her mother, to build a new life for herself. It's inspiring.
Absolutely. Her connection to Dear Blah, her love for Miss Janet, her refusal to give in to despair, all these things fuel her journey.
It's like even when the world feels overwhelming, there's still that spark inside us that yearns for connection, for hope.
This deep dive has really highlighted the importance of empathy, something we could all use a little more of these days.
Couldn't agree more. Night Watch encourages us to step outside our own little bubbles and try to understand what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes.
To recognize that everyone's story is different,
Yeah.
shaped by a whole set of experiences and choices we may never fully know.
It's a call for compassion, for recognizing the strength it takes to overcome adversity, for appreciating the vast tapestry of human experience.
And it reminds us of the power of stories, how they can give voice to those who've been silenced, how they can shed light on hidden truths.
Through ConaLee's narration, we're drawn into a world where the lines between what's real and what's imagined get blurry.
And that blurring, that uncertainty, it makes you connect with the characters on a deeper level, feel their pain, celebrate their triumphs.
Storytelling can also be a powerful tool for healing. It offers comfort and understanding to those who've been through similar trials. It reminds us we're not alone.
So as we wrap up, what are some key takeaways from our exploration of Night Watch?
Well, I think the novel reminds us that the past never really goes away. It shapes who we are, influences our decisions, even echoes down through generations.
But it doesn't have to define us. We have the power to reclaim our own narrative, to make sense of our experiences and create a future that honors both our wounds and our victories.
Another takeaway is the importance of connection. Whether it's family, friends, mentors, or even strangers who show us kindness, human connection is what sustains us.
It gives us strength and support when we need it most. It's a lifeline in the face of adversity.
And lastly, Night Watch celebrates the beauty and resilience of the human spirit. Even when things seem darkest, there's that spark within us that yearns for healing, for connection, for a world where love and compassion win out.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey into the heart of memory, identity, and the enduring power of the human spirit. We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore Jayne Anne Phillips's other works.
Be sure to check out the show notes for links to her books and other resources related to the themes we've discussed.
And remember that the conversation doesn't end here.
Share your thoughts and reflections with us on social media or through our website. We love hearing from fellow deep divers.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those pages turning.